So if you enjoy the content I make, not only subscribe to my YouTube channel, if you haven't already, make sure you go down the description box below and also follow my Twitch channel. We have started a brand spanking new, and I mean brand new, Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Tovega. What is going on, YouTube? It is your boy Tovega here yet again. Welcome to another presentation. Today's video is going to be rather interesting because it's me dwelling back into a series that I somewhat used to do on YouTube every now and then, and it's basically story times. And I've kind of been wanting to bring this back to the front of YouTube, or my front of YouTube, for the longest, because I've been carrying all these damn stories in my brain for years and shit. And the fact that in a lot of my older videos, you guys have always said that you do like my voice. I know I was very monotone at that point in time. I probably sounded like ASMR. I don't know how you guys like my voice now, but hey, here I am. Here's a story for you to, run and tell your friends or whatever. All right, so before we dive into this video, please make sure you guys leave a like if you end up liking the video. If you dislike the video, leave a dislike, man. Hey, do what you want to do. Just interact with the channel. Leave a comment down in the comment section below. I would greatly appreciate your feedback. And also, and very importantly, make sure you hit that sub button with the bell also. But anyway, getting into the story. This story takes place quite a long time ago. This is during my elementary school years in school. Like one of the earlier periods of pretty much anybody's life who's, deep into the age of an adult at this point. I'm in my late 20s now, so to me, this was a long ass time ago. This serves as one of my oldest memories probably ever, as far as what I can vividly remember. And the reason why I can vividly remember this out of a lot of other shit that happened during that period is because it was probably the most gruesome thing that I had witnessed up to that point in my life. It was my first actual eyewitness of something like, whoa, just shocking happening in front of me that I could actually see. And what makes it even worse is that this took place at my old elementary school. I'm not going to name the school, and I'm not going to name the people involved in the story, or the kids or the teachers or anybody involved in this story. And I'll probably dub their names or anything just to keep the story, consistently rolling without, oh, friend one, friend two, oh, teacher one, nah, we're going to actually give them some dubbed names. All right. So let's get into it. So this takes place in my old city back in Central California. I spent most of my grade school years in Central California until I moved to Southern California and finished out my high school years and started going to college and stuff in Southern California. And mind you, just so you know, I was actually born in Southern California, moved to Central, then moved back to Southern. So I'm originally from Southern. All right. Just to give you an idea of where this shit takes place, I guess you can say. And the Central Valley is full of agriculture. The grass in the morning is always full of fucking dew, stuff like that. It was one of those areas, I guess you can say, within the world or whatever. But anyway, it takes place like any other morning. I know this was a Thursday because later in the story, someone mentions that, oh, Friday is tomorrow or something like that. And that always stuck with me as I kept retelling the story or remembering this story throughout the years and stuff. So I know this took place on a Thursday. Like any other morning, you don't want to wake up for school, especially during that period. You're a kid, man. You're like, man, fuck school. I want to go back to sleep, bro. Or watch these Thursday morning cartoons, whatever they may be. But hey, man, like any other kid, you're pissed off to get up and get ready for school. So I get up, get ready for school. My dad wakes me up every morning during that time. And you brush your teeth, wash your face, grab a bite to eat, and then you're out the door for the bus. This day in particular happened to be one of those very dewy, wet grass days and shit. And as a kid, we don't really pay attention to this shit during that time period, or I didn't at least. But I would always run across that wet ass grass, not paying attention if it was wet or not, and ruin my shoes, whether it be new, Jordans, Nikes, Adidas, Air Maxes, whatever it may be. I fucked a lot of shoes up because I was one of those wild kids loving to run and play and shit, not caring what my feet is actually impacting and how it's dirtying up my shoes. This is another one of those days. And I can tell you about a few of those, but that's no here nor there. That's not the actual story itself. So I make it to school, right? And this was during a period where, as you go throughout school, at least in the U.S., You have your section of grades that you go through where you have one teacher per grade, and they pretty much have authority over the kids during the whole course of the day at school, right? And then you get into middle school where it starts evolving into multiple classes and in different periods with different teachers, and you start learning to manage yourself a little bit more in that vein. Well, this takes place in 3rd grade. And I vividly remember this specifically. I remember the way the classroom looked. I remember everybody in that class just about. So this takes place in 3rd grade, and it involves 2 friends that I had at the time. I'm just going to give them 2 names. Let's call them Danny, and then the other one, Alex. These were some cool friends that I had in that class. My best friends were out of that in particular class, but I was cool with Danny, and I was cool with Alex, right? Anyway, so the recess bell rings, and as you know, an elementary kid, when they hear that recess bell, bro, we're out. We're out the door. We're out the fucking door, right? Can't wait to get to the open field so we can play our favorite game known as kickball. This is before I fell in love with basketball, which is my sport nowadays. But back in the day, bruh, we used to be on that kickball shit. And I'm not talking about the kickball that's sort of like baseball where there's a diamond field and you got to run bases and you roll the ball and you kick it and shit like that. Play similar to baseball. No, this is not that type of kickball. The kickball that we play was literally taking that same ball you would use in dodgeball or for kickball, and just kicking that bitch and seeing how high we can get it and seeing if we can catch it and shit like that. Now my foot was on like some Heisman kicker type shit. I don't even know if there's ever been a Heisman kicker or punter. I don't think there has. But just to give you an idea of how strong my fucking foot was when I kicked this shit, I would send this bitch to the moon basically, right? But anyway, we would do that all recess until it's time to go back in. But in this particular recess, some bad shit happened, right? So we're out in the backfields of the school, which is where the open field is, where the diamond field and track and stuff is. We're back there playing kickball. There's plenty of kids around and stuff. And in the main area of the school, there's kids doing their own recess thing. And then there's teachers and security guards and stuff just watching the students and all that, making sure the day or the recess goes by smoothly. So we're playing kickball. It's me, Danny, Alex, and a couple of other kids playing kickball. And we're all like separated and shit. So we're just kicking the ball to each other once we get it to whoever we wanted to kick to next. Now, the ball finally got to me. Someone kicked it. I caught it. Now it's my turn to kick. This was the small rubber ball, not the big ass dodgeball rubber ball. Like some people play dodgeball with the smaller balls, but majority of dodgeball is played with the big ass balls, right? So you can bounce the ball if it comes your way away from your fucking ball and you don't get hit or whatever. I don't know. But anyway, I had the small one. And for those of you who've played kickball or my version or our version of kickball, you know them small balls, when you kick them bitches, them mugs fly high, bruh. High. So I gave my shit a go and I booted that bitch high. It probably was one of my highest kicks from my memory that I can remember. And this is where it starts getting really sad. Now, Danny and Alex were looking to catch that motherfucking ball, right? And they were on the opposite sides, right? So once I kicked it, the ball was in the air. It damn near like went above the sun and shit. So as it's coming down, you can barely see it unless you squint your eyes. Danny and Alex are running towards the ball from opposite ends, not paying attention that they're both right in front of each other, like they're in front of each other's path, basically. So they're running, right? And I can see this ball coming down, right? And I'm like, who's gonna catch this shit? Because we always do this when the ball is high in the air. Like we're running, and even if we notice somebody after it too, we're gonna try to catch that or intercept it or try to get it before they can get it. They weren't paying attention to each other at all. And to give you an idea of the height difference between these two, Danny was a little bit taller than Alex. These are elementary school kids and shit, so height varies, I guess you can say. So Danny was just a little bit taller than Alex, and if they were standing right next to each other, you can clearly see like Danny's chin could easily like just go right into Alex's eye. Like it lined up right there. And that's what ended up happening. They were running so fast, and these were 2 very fast kids at the time. They were 2 of the fastest kids in our class, actually. They were running at full speed for that ball. And I looked at the ball, and I looked back down. I'm like, who's going to catch it? And then as I'm looking at the ball, they meet. And that shit was super loud. All you hear was a pow. It's a big ass. You know, like if you run into somebody like without any pads on, like football pads or anything, there's a sound to it. It's like, ugh, like a boom, like an impactful sound, I guess you could say. These two had collided, and Danny's chin literally drilled into Alex's fucking eye socket, bro. Like literally. And the only thing you hear was that collision and the loudest screams of horror and pain that I had ever heard up to that point in my fucking life, bro. To actually sit there and witness, it was so shocking. So anyway, they collided. Danny's chin hit Alex right in his orbital on his eye, and that shit cracked it open. You can clearly see it was split open. Half his face was just full of fucking blood, just pouring out. I mean, like half his face was his face, and then there was just a whole bunch of red over the other side of his face. Now, Danny, he got fucked up too because his chin took all that impact of someone's skull, but it was not nearly as severe as Alex, right? So Danny's over there dealing with a very fucked up chin. He's crying, he's in pain and shit, and then Alex is just running, trying to find someone to help, and he's just darting towards the front office, which was on the opposite side of the school. And then you finally see a few teachers finally run in after they realize what went on, and then as people are seeing what happened to him, as he's running towards the front office, trying to figure out what to do with tears running down his face, the kids are looking at him, and you could just see girls starting to shriek, like scared as shit, because the way it looked, and I remember this vividly, it looked like the boy lost his fucking eyeball, like literally lost it, like it came out type shit. That's how red his face was, and his eye was shut, closed. Thank God it didn't pop out or anything like that. But that was the severity of the situation. Luckily, it ended up he ended up having a fracture on his orbital. So, you know, the bone that kind of like holds the eye, I guess, it was cracked and it was damaged pretty badly, but he recovered and his eye was fine. Nothing, his eye didn't get scratched or cut up by the bone or nothing like that. Danny's chin was pretty damn strong because it didn't have any fractures, but it was very scarred up, as you can see, because it took deep impact. It literally drove into this kid's fucking his head, like literally drove into his eye. Like that shit till this day. And I remember looking at them and feeling so bad because I was the kid that kicked that fucking ball in the air, and they were so attached to it. And at the same time, even in hindsight, and it's sad to think about this, but in hindsight, I think of it like, man, I saw these two running towards each other, but I was so hell-bent on seeing who was gonna catch it. By the time I looked at that ball again and they ran into each other, it was way too late. That shit had already happened. And that scarred me. That scared the fuck out of us, you know. I know there's a lot worse shit going on in schools nowadays. Well, even during that period, bad shit would happen in schools and all that before that. But now it's fucking bad. But for me, because I didn't experience that much bad shit in school in terms of like, you know, weapons and shit or safety issues or anything like that. That one sticks out to me because I witnessed it as a child, bro. And from there on, like, I always think back at that story like, God damn, that shit could have ended up even worse than it was. And it was fucking bad, bro. Like, I wish I don't want to give you guys the image that I have in my head, but if I could give you the image that I have in my head, which is the exact play-by-play of what actually happened, you'd understand the severity of how gruesome that shit looked. We all was standing there thinking this kid had lost his fucking eye, literally. But luckily, man, they all recovered. All was cool. I think after a few weeks, Danny returned, like, I think after that weekend. And this is also how I know that this shit was, it took place on a Thursday, because one of my friends said, damn, this shit happened right before Friday too. Like right before Friday, because Fridays are just the days you look forward to because you know that's the last day of the week when you're done with school. Like, right before Friday, this shit happens. Danny returned, I think on that Monday, and we didn't see Alex until probably a week or two later. That shit, yeah. And it traumatized him because that was some sad shit, man. Golly. But yeah, that was my story for the day, man. If you guys enjoyed it, please leave a like down there. go ahead and hit that sub button if you haven't already. If you guys want to see more videos, please leave a like. That's the way I know, like, in terms of a whole tally of people who want to see more content or more content like this. That's how I know, through those likes. So guys, please, if you can, hit that if you like the story, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care of yourself, and I'm out. Peace.